What up, y'all? It's the
BU Podcast, man.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Episode 1 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know Jet just said it.
Listen, man. Easter eggs.
Yeah, this the Easter egg reaction, breakdown, review, whatever you want to call it.
Listen, man. That episode 1, if you ain't seen it, go check it out.
Don't watch this.
Don't watch this.
Add this to watch later. Unless you don't mind spoilers, watch it.
Right. Yeah, but add it to watch later. That's it. Add it to watch later. And watch the episode, then come check in. So, hey.
And if you ain't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the BU Podcast. Lap that like button. And yeah, we
got Screen Crush. The theory. Well, this is what Najee was telling me.
Yeah.
He said he had a theory. He said he got a theory that Captain America is alive. Steve Rogers.
No.
He said, remember, he went back in the past for the Infinity Gauntlet and died at old age.
Yeah.
This another one still frozen on ice.
Right.
So.
Oh, that might have been that one
Captain
at the
America.
end. That might have been that.
Nah, he said it's another, like, Steve Rogers.
Oh.
That's his theory.
It might be. That one at the end might have been him,
because he haven't unthawed. He went back.
Yeah.
He just lived his life, but there's still one in the ice.
And one thing I'm going to say before we watch this video, Falcon was stupid for giving the damn shield to the government. After all the shit they went through on Civil War with the government, he went back and gave the shield to the government.
Right. Infinity War.
He was on the other side against the government.
Right. An Infinity War. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
And
all
Cap
the shit
gave you the shield.
You fought an alien. You got killed.
Yeah. But he knew the government. Remember, the government was like, arrest Captain America and
Yeah.
Why would you get the shield back to the government?
They like Hydra and you gon'... why would you do that?
After all the shit y'all just went through.
He gave it to you.
And you gave it to the government that he don't F with.
That's probably why he feel like he failed. Because you know you fucked up.
Yeah. Let's go, though, man. This is good. This is good. It's a good one.
Let's go. When the next episode come out?
Friday.
Oh, okay.
Every Friday.
Oh, it's every Friday. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Welcome to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 1. The series opens with Sam Wilson remembering his final conversation with Steve from Endgame while ironing his shirt. Now, there is a lot of this kind of thing in this episode, contrasting the heroes' extraordinary lives with their ordinary lives.
And I know for a fact that we qualify for it.
Superheroes have a rough time with bankers, don't they?
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
The pennant in the background is from LSU, a nod to Sam's new home state of Louisiana, because he was from Harlem in the comics. He also transports the shield in the same case that Steve carried it in, showing he hasn't really used this baby on any missions. It's still mint in the wrapper.
Near mint. It's like foxing around the edges, but...
We pick up with Sam on a mission to stop the LAF, led by Batroc the Leaper. He's a longtime Captain America villain who was hired by Nick Fury to hijack the Lemurian Star back in the Winter Soldier. It was great seeing Red Wing in action again. I especially love that they added these little chirps for him, like a droid. In the comics, Red Wing is an actual Falcon that Sam has a telepathic relationship with. I always thought the MCU was missing out on a key part of Sam's character by not giving him this animal companion. The guy helping him on the ground is Joaquin Torres. In the comics, Torres becomes the Falcon after Sam becomes Captain America. I'll bet you a shiny nickel that he becomes Falcon at the end of this series. Let me know in the comments if you take that bet, you coward. Sam uses the head scissor to take down Batroc, a move he probably learned from Black Widow. And later we see that Torres also learned a move from Black Widow. This opening sequence of Sam fighting LAF flying squirrels was incredible. Absolutely stunning. This was the best superhero flying sequence I've seen since Iron Man 3, maybe since Superman 78. It made me really bummed out that I wasn't seeing this in theaters. This looks like a combination of CGI, drone footage, and actual skydivers, and it's breathtaking. Everything has weight, and the way the CG Falcon gets lost out of frame makes it seem realistic and kinetic. The flying squirrels he's up against are dressed in green jumpsuits with yellow stripes, the uniform worn by Hydra henchmen in the comics. Sam's suit looks different now, trading the black and red for red and white, much closer to his uniform in the comics. Torres finds an augmented reality icon used by the Flag Smashers. Now, augmented reality is an actual tool used by modern-day activists to organize or expose corporate misdeeds. The leader of the Flag Smashers is Carly Morgenthau, a gender-swapped version of Carl Morgenthau from the comics. where he's a villain called Flag Smasher. Basically, his dad was an ambassador, killed in front of a Latvian embassy, so then he goes on to dedicate his life to erasing all nations from the earth. In fact, in his very first scene, he's literally smashing flags in front of the UN. Now, this show has made the Flag Smashers into a worldwide organization who takes the song Imagine a little too literally. Imagine there's no country. Torres spouts a conspiracy theory that Captain America is on a secret base on the moon. Now, this reminded me of Luther from Umbrella Academy, the Captain America-like hero who lived on the moon for years. But also, there is a secret moon base in the comics that's the home of Uatu, the Watcher. Jeffrey Wright is voicing him in the What If series. So, Steve could be on the moon. No one's saying that he's not. In the comics, Nick Fury also lived on this base when he became the Watcher. In the Smithsonian, Sam is donating the shield to the Cap exhibit that we first saw in The Winter Soldier.
It belongs in a museum.
Where he's joined by James Rhodes. It'd be super cool if he suited up by the end of the series. There are lots of Easter eggs in this exhibit. This is Cap's uniform from the first Avengers movie. This uniform is from the Howling Commando named Pinkerton, who was a marksman. The Bucky section has been expanded to include his time as the Winter Soldier and the Sokovia Accords. In fact, this glass in the foreground even bears the emblem of the Sokovian flag. This newspaper headline celebrates the Howling Commandos destroying Hydra factories like we saw in First Avenger, and these are all weapons that we see the Howling Commandos using here. Also, I never noticed this before, but Sebastian Stan is making duck lips in this scene. And there's also Cap's bike and original shield from First Avenger. This display shows Thanos' ship from Infinity War with the text "out of hiding," meaning that this is the event that drew Steve Rogers into the public eye again. The names of the people who were blipped are called the Vanished, just like they were at the San Francisco Memorial that we saw in Endgame. Now, this plaque that reads "Final Mission" is the most interesting. The text here reads, "With the death of Tony Stark, Steve Rogers honored his friend by laying down his shield and living the lives he fought so hard to protect." This doesn't mention that the Avengers use time travel, so that's probably not common knowledge. But it also doesn't say that Steve died. But the montage at the beginning of Far From Home heavily implies that the world thinks Cap is dead. I mean, otherwise he would have been at this Smithsonian dedication, right? But then that gets into the whole thing where the Russo brothers say that Steve lived his life out in another reality, but Endgame's writers say that he was Peggy's husband secretly in the MCU all along. I'm betting they avoid this question for the entire series. Moving on. This newspaper is when Steve liberated the Hydra camp on his first mission. This poster says his USO tour was canceled, and we actually see the same poster in First Avenger here. This is Captain America issue 1 from real life, and also like we see in First Avenger. But you'll notice that his teen sidekick Bucky is missing from the movie version because Cap never had a teen sidekick in the MCU. This poster calls back to Cap's time as a war bond salesman. Here's his 4F form, the photo of him that Peggy had framed on her desk, him holding the car door after chasing the Hydra agent, and this is a photo of him coming out of the Super Soldier capsule. In this scene, Sam explains why he didn't accept the title of Captain America.
Feels like it belongs to someone else. And someone else is Steve.
I love the framing here, with the glass separating him from the shield. It's showing that he's placing this legacy on a pedestal, something he can see but never touch. Oh, and we can see here that Cap's World War II uniform was returned, meaning that this guy might have gotten his job back.
I am so fired.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier is one of many Marvel Disney Plus shows coming out this year. But did you know that there's a new feature on Disney Plus called Star that lets you access mature content, like Family Guy, Die Hard, or the Alien franchise? But Star is only available if you live in Europe, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. What? So if you don't live in any of those countries and you don't want to travel there, there is a cheaper solution. Get NordVPN, the sponsor of this week's video. Nord has thousands of super fast servers all over the world, so you're able to register your IP address from another country where they're actually streaming the movie that you want to watch. If you are interested, go to nordvpn.com/ScreenCrush to get a huge discount off a 2-year plan, and use the code ScreenCrush to get an extra month for free. And if you find out the service isn't right for you, no pressure, there's a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. Lots of other streaming sites offer different programming in other countries. Using NordVPN is the best way to get your money's worth out of all your streaming services. It's like adding free streaming stuff, the link down in the description. Back to the Easter eggs. Next we check in with the Winter Soldier, and I love how they brought back his theme in this sequence. He wakes up and we see that he's still living like an assassin.
I'm home, lying in my bed, and it's like
lying on a marshmallow. I feel like I'm gonna sink right to the floor.
Now, just like we see glimpses of Sam's mundane life, we also check in with Bucky's therapy session. But I don't mind all of these quiet sequences.
And then we can renovate the kitchen.
Ordinary life sequences like these are some of the best scenes in the movies. Now in this scene, notice how Bucky is sitting in front of a vibrant forest. But he's set apart from this location. He's lit darker to show that this life is out of reach. He's also placed at the bottom of the frame to show that he feels diminutive in this setting. Even the blinds in the room look like prison bars to show that he's a prisoner of his own guilt.
Dang.
Alone. He's also filmed with extreme close-ups on one side of his face to show that he's not revealing his full self. He's still, in many ways, only half a man, grappling with the sins that his other half has committed. He talks about making amends with Senator Atwood, who, like Senator Stern, was a Hydra pawn buried in the government. So internally, Bucky is cleaning Hydra out of his head, and literally, he's clearing them out from the government. He also name drops Wakanda.
I had a little calm in Wakanda.
You'll remember that, like Dave Chappelle, he went to Africa to clear his head.
White Wolf.
Where's the fight?
So I went through all the names on Bucky's list, and guess what? There's a few Easter eggs here. Andrei Rostov in the comics is the Soviet villain, the Red Guardian. In the more recent comics, he was Bucky's warden when the Russians imprisoned him in a gulag. Wow. Now, this is during the period when Bucky was making amends in the comics, like he's doing now in the MCU. P.W. Hauser was the actor who starred alongside Sebastian Stan in I, Tonya. Great movie. H. Zemo is Helmut Zemo, the longtime Captain America villain who we saw in Civil War and is returning in this series. Hendrickson could be a reference to Hal Hendrickson, the soldier in the comics who received the Venom symbiote before Flash Thompson. So there are two names called Kaminsky, which could be a reference to this Kaminsky who worked with Hydra agent John Garrett in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Kutsinov was a Soviet scientist who invented a robot called Udarnik. Now this list actually parallels Steve's list from Winter Soldier. Both he and Bucky were listing ways to re-enter society, but Steve was trying to catch up on the present, while Bucky is trying to make amends for his past. And I love that the show is dealing with real veterans issues, like financial problems, PTSD, and their struggle to rejoin society. These were some of the most heartfelt moments in Winter Soldier that grounded the movie and helped Steve and Sam form a bond.
Some stuff you leave there, other stuff you bring back.
He tells his friend,
I can't believe you did that. It's a dance of these things. You gotta warm up.
Now, dancing carries a lot of symbolic meaning for Cap and Bucky, because after all, if you wanted to have a good time in the 40s, there was literally nothing else to do. Steve talked about never going dancing.
Women aren't exactly lining up to dance with a guy they might step on.
He and Bucky were going to take their dates dancing when Steve enlisted.
Come on, you're kind of missing the point of a double date. We're taking the girls dancing.
Bucky asked Peggy to dance.
I might, even when this is all over, go dancing.
Then what are we waiting for?
The right partner.
And of course, Steve ended his story by finally getting his dance with Peggy. How about the reveal that Bucky killed this guy's son? That is absolutely brutal. Back on the bayou, Sam returns home to his family's shrimping boat business.
On a good day, you can catch over 100 pounds of shrimp.
I'm sorry about that. Sam's sister is named Sarah, just like in the comics, and their parents were Paul and Darlene, also like in the comics. This whole subplot about him wanting to keep the boat in his business might seem trivial, but it actually has symbolic meaning. Sam is holding on to the past and old traditions. He doesn't want to change. In the same way, he's unable to imagine a world with a different Captain America than Steve Rogers.
This thing's gotta go.
We grew up on this thing.
When Bucky goes on his date, it's filmed through hazy glass. Just like Sam looking at the shield, this shows that Bucky is separated from this world. By socializing, he's moved into a new phase of his life where the future is unclear. But even when he's just hanging out with a nice woman on a date, he still finds himself drawn into a war game. Battleship.
He don't get drunk.
Sank my battleship.
Also, this instruction manual says electronic battleship, but this is clearly not electronic battleship, just saying. And she also says,
so have you dated much since half the fish in the sea came back?
A joke about dating, literal fish since they're in a sushi restaurant, and also since they're playing a board game on a pretend sea. Like ogres, this show has layers.
You get it! We both have layers.
That's fire.
Bucky tries to settle the waving cat, another small metaphor that he's trying to quiet the restlessness inside himself. Oh, and this line,
you know how we call a guy whose wife died a widower,
is stolen from 6 Feet Under.
If you lose a spouse, you're called a widow or a widower. If you're a child and your
parents die, you're an orphan.
But what's the word to describe a parent who loses a child?
I guess it's like the worst thing that can happen.
I guess that's just too awful to even have a name.
Now, over in Switzerland, Torres is infiltrating the Flag Smashers, and oh my god, look there, that's a hexagon, just like the hexagons in WandaVision, and space travel, and the bee guy, and the bees!
Not the bees!
Sorry, everyone. Look, I spent 8 weeks spotting hexagons everywhere. Even Doug helped me out. I feel like Bucky. I have to purge all that out of my mind. Moving on. You'll notice that the Flag Smashers appear to be super strong. Now, there's an explanation for that from the comics that could link the new Captain America to this evil group.
Exactly.
But I'll get into that when we talk about the new Cap. The lone officer asked a question I've wondered about for a while.
How do you guys make a living?
And he even name drops Tony Stark.
Is there some kind of fun for heroes, or did Stark pay you when he was around?
Since in the comics, Stark did bankroll the Avengers.
Wow.
Shout out to the production design team for subtly surrounding Sam's family home with touches that reinforce who he is. There's the child's drawing of a jet, reflecting his time in the Air Force, the eagle inside the snow globe, because he's the Falcon, and this ichthus fish, perhaps implying that he comes from a religious home. When Torres shows Sam the footage, he says,
"Wait, you don't think he could be a..."
Look, I'll circle back to you.
Now, I wonder who he's talking about. My guess is either Zemo, some unknown villain, or maybe Bucky. It could be that Sam still distrusts Bucky and think he's going to snap and become the Winter Soldier. Remember that in Winter Soldier he said,
"Put him in there, we're dead. We're recording."
He's the kind you stop.
The episode ends with them watching WHIH. This is the news network inside the MCU that also created the in-universe social videos during Phase 2 and 3.
Tony Stark's got enough money to fix New York 10 times over.
And then the government introduces their brand new Captain America, John Walker. So much to unpack here. First, a very brief history from the comics. Back in the 80s, the government insisted that Captain America follow their orders, and so Steve walked away from the Shield. The government then chose this ultra-conservative guy named John Walker to be the new Cap. It didn't go so well. He went nuts and started killing guys until Steve took over again. But Walker had super strength that he got from a villain called the Power Broker. He was kind of like Viagra, charging people for male enhancement. I'm wondering if the Flag Smashers in this show have also been augmented by the Power Broker. This could create a link between John Walker and this terrorist group. Maybe in future episodes, Winter Soldier and Falcon will actually team up with Zemo to stop the Power Broker, since Zemo's whole deal is that he wants to rid the Earth of superpowered people.
Did you really think I wanted more of you?
Now you'll notice that Walker's uniform looks very different from Captain America's. It's actually based on the uniform that Steve wore while he wasn't Captain America, and that John Walker would later use as the hero U.S. agent. Now, bringing John Walker into the story is a huge opportunity to make a political commentary on the dichotomy of two Americas and the red state-blue state divide. I seriously doubt Disney will do that in the show, but you never know. After all, Winter Soldier was a commentary on the surveillance state.
You got the A for Anarchy on his right.
He is finally ready to sacrifice its freedom to gain its security.
Some of you might be wondering, why didn't they ask Sam to be the new Cap if he was Steve's choice? And then why lie to him? Well, first of all, they wanted someone they could control, and Sam had already defied the Sokovia Accords. Plus, he had already turned down the Shield. But I also think that race was a factor. When Walker is chosen in the comics, one of the characters just flat out says that America wasn't ready for a black Captain America. There's a terrific comic series called Truth, Red, White, and Black. It's about Isaiah Bradley, the black GI who the Army experimented on during World War II, who became the black Captain America, briefly. There's a hint that this might be a story told in this series. In the credits, we see this form that says name, subject 09656, and this looks like Carl Lumbly, who's rumored to be playing Isaiah Bradley in this series. So, let's go through these credits, which are loaded with Easter eggs and hints about future episodes. We see Cap's shield inside a bomb, showing that the title of Captain America can be used to incite terrorism and violence, like the Flag Smashers. I love that there's all this fine print text, like its history slowly being unredacted in front of our eyes. This says Shadow Group pulls off weapons heists. I'm betting that refers to the Flag Smashers. Information on enhanced individuals being reported to a Major Donovan for a special unit. Now this is interesting.
Wow.
Is there a secret military unit of superpowered people? Could this actually be a group of villains, like the Abomination, organized by Thunderbolt Ross that he turns into the Thunderbolts? In the comics, these were a group of villains who were disguised as heroes. Forces from neighboring Madripoor. This is the fictional Asian country that we've seen in the trailers. There's also a mention of Agent 13, that's Sharon Carter, who's going to appear in a later episode.
Let's go.
and a masked man causing chaos in Prague, where they filmed much of this show. December 16th, 1991 is the date Winter Soldier killed Stark's parents. 5 years lost and found refers to the snap and the blip. Where do we go now that they're gone is the poster of the support group that Steve was hosting in Endgame. Now this language is actually Russian, but I ran it through Google Translate and it turns out this is actually a reference to your mom. And finally, these are the words used to activate the Winter Soldier in Civil War.
17. Рассвет.
Well, that's all the Easter eggs I found, but if you found any, let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.
That boy was busting it down, wasn't he?
Yeah. Hey, man, that covered it. Episode 1. Go watch it. I did not know, like,
most of that stuff he was saying. I was like,
break you down, make you like, damn, I must just be a casual fan because I didn't know a nigga named Isaiah.
He was reading into this thing like, this is Russian back.
Other characters and his other characters and
like this
5 different niggas was Captain America.
Yeah,
Thunderbolt. I heard about the Thunderbolts.
This is gonna have some. This gonna be deep.
Thunderbolts, man, them niggas.
Even when he said that the states separating.
You see, he
red
got
and
the
blue
A on his back.
Yeah.
For anarchy, like that nigga not no
he ain't no
Avenger or America.
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna be some. It's gonna be some anti-government type stuff.
Yup.
It's gonna be like how real life is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be like a Winter Soldier episode by episode though. Like
Winter Soldier.
It's gonna be a lot of. It's gonna be a lot of controversy.
It's gonna have to be Captain America, Falcon.
Yeah, he gonna have no choice.
Yeah,
nobody else could be him.
Right, he chose you too.
He just need that super soldier stuff.
Yeah.
Or he get strong.
Yeah, because
or you gotta give it a
Soldier got it.
Yeah, but he just not in the right headspace.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
That's crazy. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's why he gave it to Falcon.
He got chosen, but he got the strength like Captain America.
So it's gonna take both of them to be Cap.
Right. At a time period they did.
See what y'all doing, Kevin Feige.
Right. At the time period, he did become Captain America.
He did. Yeah.
They both. That was sweet though. Both of them doing that shit. But...
And Punisher became Cap before.
Did he?
Yeah.
Damn. And
he died.
And the old Nick Fury became Punisher, the white one.
Yeah.
But he got decapitated. It's crazy.
Marvel,
Punisher.
They be having they life in it.
It's dark. It get dark.
Yeah.
One time period, all them niggas was villains. Like,
that's
crazy, when they had to reboot it. That's why they rebooted the Marvel, the old
Marvel Cinematic Universe. No. Yeah, man.
Yeah, they go through it.
Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 1. We missed the WandaVision thing. We on it with this.
Hey, that shit make me want to look through the Marvel Encyclopedia now.
Yeah.
I don't got it. Dang, I got the DC one.
Will
got the Marvel one. Will got the Marvel. Oh,
but yeah,
shit,
man.
That's fire.
Y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you don't be nobody, be yourself. It going out.